Man, today's episode is going to be called Nah Morant because Ja Morant is out here hustling backwards, so to speak. The cliche or the saying, you are the company you keep, maybe that applies here. Maybe the notion of, I'm young with money, don't know how that, I don't know, but Memphis Grizzlies star Ja Morant, I mean, he is a phenomenal athlete, phenomenal basketball player on the court. One of the most box office players you can watch. One of the favorite people I love watching, for sure. Like, Ja Morant is like everything you can want in a superstar on the court. He gives you heart. He plays with effort, explosive, gets teammates involved, fearless, all the above on the court. But my gosh, the things that's being reported off the court lately, it's mind-blowing. It's like, do you have anybody in your inner circle that cares about your future? Do you? Do you? Like, this is like ridiculous. It's mind-blowing. And so, for those that don't know, Ja Morant, and I guess there's been a list of things from him that I guess is coming to a head now, and I feel like he's on the cusp of losing a lot of endorsements and money in general. It's just a lot of bad publicity here, and it's just dumb actions. So early Saturday morning, he was on IG Live at a club, I guess, after they lost to the Nuggets. I guess while on IG Live, he flashed his gun. Now, Tennessee is an open carry state, so nothing illegal. But when you are one of the faces of the NBA at 23 years old, that is something you just don't do. And, that was like the first incident, I guess it wouldn't be as problematic. But when you start, hearing the other incidents that I'm about to, I guess, go over real quick, it's like, oh, this is mind blowing. That's why I'm like in this voice, I'm so confused. Like, where's the logic? For real. So you have that going on, and then with that, he's basically missing the next two games. And I will end up reading a statement from him in a few, but I just want to go back to the other few incidences. So I want to say about a month ago, like, him and a couple of guys was in an SUV, and they had like red dots pointing out of it, like, I guess imitating that it could have been a gun aiming while in an SUV. Like, what? This is not Grand Theft Auto? Well, that's very head scratching. Oh, and not to mention, there's an incident, with a 17-year-old. So, Morant allegedly invited an unidentified 17-year-old local basketball player to his home to play in a pickup game. I think this happened last summer. Things got a bit heated between the two as the teen guarded Morant. The two reportedly began to throw the basketball at one another until the ball hit Morant in the face. Morant and a friend then repeatedly began to beat the teen. And this is, I guess, the quotes from it. Quote, Ja hit me like 12 to 13 times, the boy said, adding that the friend struck him 4 or 5 times. When police asked the boy how hard the punches landed, he compared them to an MMA bout. After the men were pulled off him, the boy told police Morant went inside and the boy got up to leave. As the boy was going to his car, He said Morant, quote, came outside with his gun, end quote. It was tucked into his pants, and the boy said, and though he didn't pull it out, the boy said he saw Morant put his hand on it. Morant reportedly claimed he acted in self-defense and thought the ball hit him in the face was the first hit. Though Morant wasn't charged for that incident, you listen to that like, what? Like, is there... I mean, did you have, like, beef with this kid? Or do you have anger issues? Because to be put in a situation where you over here swinging punches at a 17-year-old, you and a friend, if that's, actually happened, like, what is going on? Well, like, so seriously, like, what's really good? Like, I asked this question in the Facebook group yesterday. Are you dumb or stupid? Like, please let us know. And then there was an incident at the mall. So, Morant also got caught up with a mall security guard after his mother had gotten into a verbal argument with an employee at a finish line. She called Morant, and he arrived to the scene with 9 other people. Things went south from there, according, I guess, to the story. Quote, confronted by the director of mall security, Morant and his friends refused the security guard's demands to leave the mall parking lot. Police arrived and a, quote, verbal confrontation escalated, the report says, until someone in the group allegedly pushed the security director in the head. As the group was leaving the premises, John Morant said, let me find out what time he gets off, end quote. Morant wasn't charged there either, but what? So the mom had an issue. And so, I guess instead of, calling the police, or I guess she called Ja, and instead of Ja, like, calling somebody, him and a whole football team, with 10 people basically, or two basketball teams playing full court, just showed up and started causing issues. Like, where's the accountability? Where's the awareness? Like, once again, John Morant, like, you're 23 making millions, generational wealth. If I'm not mistaken, I mean, you're about to have a signature shoe here. Like, you still have a whole freaking career in front of you on the court. And every one of these is, digging a deeper and deeper hole to the point to where your career is going to fall underneath you and you can't get out of it. That's the hole you're digging here. Like, it's not adding up. It's not making any sense whatsoever. At all. I don't get it. I don't. And here's the quote, I guess, in regards to, well, more so the statement from John Morant from the gun incident to where now he's missing the next 2 games. John Morant says, quote, I take full responsibility for my actions last night. I am sorry to my family, teammates, coaches, fans, partners, the city of Memphis, and the entire Grizzlies organization for letting you down. I'm going to take some time away to get help and work on learning better methods of dealing with stress and my overall well-being, end quote. That's probably the most politically correct thing he could have said, but we still head scratching here. there's some people that's saying that, cut him some slack. He's 23, just doing dumb stuff. Like, yeah, no. Yeah, so I understand that, at 23, yeah, you definitely don't have your life together, obviously. You don't. You're still trying to figure things out. But if you're 23 and a professional athlete making millions of dollars, you should not be in these situations at all. Yeah, I understand you're still young, but you should have a team around you that actually cares and put you in the best position possible when you realize that you're not, wise enough to make, the smartest decisions. Like, where is the accountability? Like, his father, who looks like the second coming of Usher, like what is he doing about this? I mean, I know one thing. When my dad was alive, I mean, he definitely held me accountable for things a way less than this when I was growing up. I mean, if my father did, my mother sure did. And, with the mall incident, it's like, yeah, I understand, call your son who has the power. But man, like, there's just no accountability. And for, the Grizzlies team, the Grizzlies got the second best record in the Western Conference right now. And we're not even talking about that. We're talking about Ja Morant. And I guess him want to, act so gangster or hood or whatever you want to call it. It's ridiculous. I know, growing up in the hood, there was, two goals: to make it out the hood and to stay out the hood once you make it out. Like, those are the goals. And that's why I was saying in the beginning, it seemed like he's hustling backwards. Like, basically everybody that, had their 2 cents to say is, like, just being dumb. And a lot of us are fans of him, but you're hustling backwards. It's like, why would you put yourself back there? It's hard getting out. So why are you doing this stuff? I mean, yeah, the last part of the quote, like, work on learning better methods of dealing with stress and my overall well-being. I mean, that's fine and dandy. But man, I mean, does that involve, putting better people around you? Besides the, self-awareness and self-reflection and holding yourself accountable, is that part of it too? Because you are the company you keep. That is a real thing. If you are keeping people around you that, still about that life, that still, do things that you shouldn't be around, then eventually it's going to catch up with you. Guilty by association, even if you're doing it or not, you're going to be connected to it. And at a certain point, Nike don't want to mess with you anymore. The NBA eventually won't mess with you anymore. Then what you going to do then? I hope your money's already invested in something. Now, in the previous interviews that I've heard, prior to all these incidences, I mean, Ja seemed like a great guy that got his head on straight, that, his dad has always knew how to push the right buttons. But man, I don't know what happened in the last year. Because it seemed like that's went way out the window. I mean, just look at the timeline of this season. When I think the Memphis Grizzlies either had the second or best record in the Western Conference, and basically said, they ain't got nobody to worry about. I mean, it went downhill. The Grizzlies started losing games, and then, and we know Memphis is a tough city. They're a gritty city. I mean, the previous regime, maybe about 10 years ago. The Grindhouse with, that team with Gasol and Zach Randolph and Mike Conley, Tony Allen. I think Matt Barnes was on that team at the time too. I mean, that team was gritty. That team was fearless. And, that team earned a lot of respect around the league. It did. You respected the Memphis Grizzlies back then. I mean, and then this team now, it has that similar feel. Especially in the last couple of years when they started to come up. They're gritty, they're hungry, they're fearless. When you're young, you're not thinking, so you can use that to your advantage, like to where you're not just gonna back down. So I mean, I'm all for that. But when you playing the Lakers and there's an incident with Shannon Sharp and that whole thing, and then you got Morant, like when Bane out here hitting threes and you doing like pointing the gun celebrations and stuff, and just a lot of immature rowdiness by, I mean, it's a whole culture. I mean, you got Dylan Brooks out here got his 16th technical foul already and getting suspended. I mean, yeah, it's one thing to be gritty and, fearless, but it's another thing just to be going, off the wall with it too. So yeah, the young and, young and dumb, excuse, it doesn't fly here with me. It don't. Because we could point to, Jalen Carter, who we talked about last week, and him, being arrested for the reckless driving scenario. And the difference, yeah, he was, quote unquote, young and dumb and did something stupid too. Only difference is between him and you right now, Ja. He's not a professional athlete yet, even though he's about to be. But yeah, you are a 23-year-old NBA player in the face of the league. You have a lot more to lose than he does right now. You do. So I don't know exactly, what needs to happen here all the way. But I do know one thing. If this continues on, your career is going to get cut short. I mean, there's memes out here of people calling you Ja Wick now, in reference to John Wick. You just want to be that shooter. You just want to be that guy. Apparently, you want to be that shooter on and off the court. If that's what you want to do, fine. Ruin your career. But man, it's like, in this day and age, everything is magnified, especially with social media. So you cannot get away with doing dumb stuff like people probably did in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. I'm just saying, let that have been Allen Iverson. Now. Because Allen Iverson, in his prime, with the stuff that he was getting criticized for, I mean, it was bad enough. I mean, he was getting criticized and scrutinized, and we didn't even have social media back then. Let him start doing that stuff now. Well, I don't even think Allen Iverson would have made it to the league. I'm just saying. So, Ja, Daddy Ja, Mama Ja, I don't know, but like, accountability needs to be had. Circle probably needs to change. Priorities needs to shift. Better ways to deal with, stress and overall well-being. I mean, I guess that too. But nevertheless, like, at the end of the day, you only have one life. It's up to you to choose how you want to live it. But everything you do has consequences, good and bad. So I guess we will see what happens there. So continue to rock with your boy right here on the No Offense Radio, No Offense Network. Check me out on social media at JGoodWithSports. We talking about Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Continue to rock with me on the JGoodWithSports podcast. The Early Morning Sports Talk podcast has been on hiatus here as we get ready for our March Madness edition. This week I will have more to come as far as the JGoodWithSports Tourney Challenge as we did last year. But until then, you all be safe. Get to this money. Don't act like Morant out here. Nah, Morant. We can't do that. But until then, until next time, peace.